Lenin Block Gemara. Today's daf is daf Lamed Tes, and this is the end of Kiddushin. And how apropos that it's all about, doing an extra mitzvah, something to get all the kudos that we can get. And we're up to the Mishnah on daf Lamed. We're Tes on the base, the very top of the page. The Mishnah says the following: Kol ha'oisa mitzvah achas. Anyone who does one mitzvah, mativinly, they will give him good. Mativinly means in this world you will get benefit. Yamav, and you will get a long life. And also in Elam Haba, you will inherit a chelik in Elam Haba. Our understanding of the Mishnah right now is we do one mitzvah. This is what happens. You get credit in this world, and you will get credit in the world to come. If you have no mitzvahs to your credit whatsoever, you will not have any benefits in this world, nor will you have benefits in the world to come. That is how we understand the Mishnah as it is right now. Says the Gemara, but I'll ask you a question. It says, and we say, in davening, except here's a little bit shorter. Pay the same by the following things you actually get the benefits in this world, and it sounds like elu, only of these things. The hakeren kayam is haba, and the principle is stored for you in the world to come. In other words, you get rewarded in this world, and you'll get rewarded in the world to come. Not all mitzvahs, only a select group of mitzvahs. Elu hain, the following ones: kivud of aim. I've only mentioned a few of them, but that we don't. In davening, we have more. Kivud of aim. Honoring your parents, ugmilu chasadim, being charitable, hachnosas orchim, inviting guests, doesn't mention here hachnosas kala, and so on. V'havar sholem ben adam lechaveira, and bringing sholem ben adam lechaveira. By the way, hachnosas orchim in Hilchos Shabbos and Shulchan Aruch explains when it says orchim, it doesn't mean friends. Hachnosas orchim means somebody who's from a distant place that has nowhere else to eat. If you invite friends, it comes under the gedder of a haftarecha kameich. Abbas Yisrael, but not under the Hachnosas Orchim when we say Hachnosas Orchim. The Havar Sholem ben Adam lechaveda, bringing peace between people. The Talmud Torah can kulam. So what does it sound from here? That these are the only mitzvahs that you get rewarded in both worlds. And the Mishnah seems to be saying any mitzvah. You do any single mitzvah and you get all those benefits. Says the Gemara, this is how you read the Mishnah. If you're half and half, you're exactly half and half. Famous Rambam, we'll talk more about it tomorrow because I'm based on the Gemara tomorrow. But if you did half mitzvahs and half averos, and you do one mitzvah, you tip the scale. But you have to do one mitzvah to tip the scale. And then what happens is we will reward you with daime kimisha mekayim kolateru kula. Then we'll treat it as if you fulfill the entire Torah. Meklal, the hanoch afilu b'chadanami. On the other hand, these over here, that what one mitzvah alone is enough. What does that mean? This is what it means. Generally speaking, what it means is that if you're equal, you do one mitzvah, you tilt the scale on your side. Means like this. All other mitzvahs, if you're half and half, you need to do one more mitzvah to tip the scale. These mitzvahs that is mentioned in that Mishnah in Peah, which is Talmud Torah and Chos Orchim, Kibbud Abeim, those mitzvahs, even if you're half and half, if in the half of your mitzvahs includes one of those mitzvahs, it'll tilt the scale. Because those mitzvahs are very weighty. They have the capacity that even though in number it's exactly half and half, it will tilt the scale. Says the Gemara. Okay, says the Gemara further. So it doesn't mean the Mishnah you only did one mitzvah in your whole life. You did many mitzvahs. But the chiddush of these few mitzvahs are that if you did, what do you call it? If you had these mitzvahs in there, it tilts the scale on your behalf. And but our Mishnah is saying. Our Mishnah is saying you have to do a mitzvah means it's talking about a normal case. You're half and half. Well, you want to tip the scale. You need one more mitzvah to tilt the scale on your side. Says the Gemara, you're telling me you're telling me that if you did one more mitzvah, Forget the fact that these few mitzvahs here, that if they're part of it, it tilts it. But let's the idea that all you need is a majority, quality or quantity, you tilt the scale. So that's a question. But in meanwhile, that's a question. It says, "But I said, anyone has more mitzvahs than Avedas, Marian life. You actually have a difficult life in this world, and the purpose is to cleanse you, to expunge all the Avedas from you, to purge any punishments that you might have. This way, you can go straight to Gan Eden when you go up there. So you're telling me that if Reiv Zachias, you have a good time in this world and the world to come. Forget if Reiv Zachias, but you have Avedas, you're gonna have a hard time in this world, so that you should be able to go to Gan Eden. We treat you in this world as if you burnt the entire Torah, and you did nothing right. You're gonna have a difficult life, but it's for your benefit, so you can go straight to Gan Eden. If somebody does more Avedas than mitzvahs, you would think he'll have a tough life. No, it's a good life. As if he fulfilled the entire Torah. Why? We want to reward him for all the mitzvahs he did in this world, so that he can go straight to Gehenna. As if we treat him in this world as if he did not omit one letter of the Torah, fulfilled it properly, so that he can get rewarded in this world and go straight to Olam Haba. So he should go straight to the other place. So what's going on here? How do you understand? So you're telling me the our Mishnah says if you do one mitzvah, you'll have a good life in this world, right? It says mativin loy, and the Braisa didn't forget that if it's Reiv Zachias, Marian loy. If Reiv Avedis, then mativin loy. Amar Abai. So there's a machlek Rashi. There's another Shem Halim Rashi. Amar Abai says masnisi. In this I learn the Mishnah. When it says mativin or Marian, doesn't mean for current time. Mativin means for the future also. And what does mativin mean? The Avdin Le Yom Tov. We make for him a good holiday in the future. So therefore, he has a hard time now, and he suffers so that he can go straight to Gan Eden. And the Yom Bishan for Russia, we make it for the future that he should have a terrible time to go straight to the other place. So therefore, we give him some good in this world so that he gets all his rewards right now. So in other words, the Yom Tov and the Yom Bayish is for the future. We're talking about what's going to happen after 120 years. Rava says no. Let's go back to what we said. That Rava says that we do in our Mishnah Holy do one extra mitzvah, will give you a reward in this world and everything else. So how come this other Mishnah in Pei seems to be saying that only those limited mitzvahs you get an extra reward, but that's it, you don't get an extra reward. So, and Rabbi Amar, that Mishnah that says, sorry, this Braisa, you asked a question. Our Mishnah said if you do one extra mitzvah, you go straight to, you get Mativin Loi. The Braisa says for Ked Marian Loi. Says Rabbi, it's a machlekes. What is machlekes? Our Mishnah taka hold you get a reward in this world, but this Braisa that you learned follows Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov holds that Schar Mitzvah b'hai alma leka. What about all the fact that it says all these rewards in the Torah and Bechukais and other places? So there's the Ramban, the Rambam. But basically, some of the Rishonim learn that these rewards are not rewards. These rewards in Olam Hazeh are to enable you to fulfill more mitzvahs. So it's not a reward, it's an enabler, which is very different than a reward. Anyway, what's this Rabbi Yaakov? Rabbi Yaakov says, today you don't get any schar. Today you just do the mitzvahs. The tiny back away, you don't have a mitzvah in the Torah shemat schar b'tzida that is written the matnas schar that's on the side ain't chis amazing to you, but that the reward that it says in the Torah you will receive is not talking about after chis amazing when Mashiach will come. So interesting here, we're saying clearly the Olam Haba doesn't mean Gan Eden. Olam Haba means Chisamesha Mashiach will come. The big machlek is the Rambam and Ramban. What does Olam Haba mean? The Rambam says Olam Haba, the ultimate reward is always Gan Eden. The Ramban learns the ultimate reward is Chisamesha Mashiach will come. Here, interesting. You see clearly that it says here when it says that you'll get a reward in the future. Olam Haba, as Rashi says, Olam Haba. It says Ain't Chisamesim Tluyba. Unless he means after you pass away, we're just calling it Chisamesim in a nice way, but we mean Gan Eden. Okay, which means, look what he says. And yet, if the father says to you, go climb the tower, and bring me those little chicks there, and send them other way. So you're doing two mitzvahs. Two mitzvahs. Well, to climb the tower, and he said, wait a minute, he fulfilled both mitzvahs. The Natlas Abonim, and then he came down, he died. Heichen Toivas Yomash, but the clearly rewarded him. Heichen Arichas Yomash, here it says, Man Arichan Yemechel, and by Shluch Council, Man Yitavlach, it means the future. It means Gan Eden. It means a world that goes on forever. We'll get to in a second. So, which comes like this: Rabbi Yaakov and the Baraisa not only argues on the Mishnah, they also argue on this other Mishnah in Peah. Because the Mishnah in Peah says, okay, at least 5 mitzvahs. That's why that Ken and Kayem Islam Haba, but you get schar in this world. And according to Yaakov, there's no mitzvah. And because Yaakov uses Kibbutz of Aim as an example, and that Mishnah uses Kibbutz of Aim to say that you get to pay the same, the dividends by Elam Hazah, the Keren, the Kayem is Elam Haba, and the principle is still intact. Elam Haba. Rabbi Yaakov clearly uses Kibbutz of Aim as an example that you don't get rewarded in this world. So Rabbi Yaakov argues Sai on our Mishnah and Sai on this Mishnah in Peah. So he made up a story, and who said that? Maybe Taki, that's what it doesn't happen. He saw with his own eyes. Maybe the reason why he died is doing a beta, and that's why he's punished. When it comes to a machshava ra, Hashem does not count it as an avera. If we had lewd thoughts, Tesis brings a question. But Avodah Zarah is an exception over there. If you had thoughts of doing committing the Avodah Zarah, there is different than all other Avedas. The thought itself is already considered an Aveda. We'll see. It says in the pasuk, "The Tefoshes based on believe them." The Eden were caught just by thinking in their hearts. So therefore, the Gemara asks a question. Maybe the reason why this person did not live on is because a separate thing that occurred in B'Shas Ma'aseh, that he was there having thoughts about Avodah Zarah. Taisa brings it by Goyim is exactly the way around. By them, Machshavet, we'll see tomorrow, the Machshavet Torah Machshavet he doesn't. But by Goyim, the Machshavet Torah are not counted, but the Machshavet are counted. There was a literature godel called the Eyes in the Cup, the Eyes of Chorif. And he was very close to the Chayzon Lublin. The Chayzon Lublin went to the Pshitsche, the other way around. One of those Rebbes went to the other Rebbe, came back after Pesach. Rabbi Cholif asked him, "No, tell me about Torah." Your Rebbe said. So Rabbi Cholif heard about Torah that this Rebbe said. So he went over to said to him, "You hear what your Rebbe said?" Playing around with words in the Haggadah, it says, he said, "I took your father, Levi. That's Avraham Avinu." So he tied for Ekech. I will take Avichem your thoughts. Avichem is Ratzon. Take your thoughts. Me'eva from Aveda Lenor to light to mitzvah. Oh, what are you talking about? Meister Avraham Avinu carrying all. So this can't remember the name. Sorry. Said, what a brilliant verse, and it answered a question that bothered me for years. We know when a person does tshuva, all the Avedas become mitzvahs. But by Yid, the machshavas ras are not mitzvah for myself. They don't count. So when a person does tshuva, what happens to the machshavas ras? Do the machshavas ras become now machshavas tevis? And by Yid, machshavas tevis mitzvah for myself is as if he did the mitzvah. So in addition to all the mitzvahs he did, all the machshavas of doing averis now become machshavas of doing mitzvahs, and by Yid, and therefore you have another whole bunch of mitzvahs. Or no, machshavas ras ain't occurring as a ma'aseh, they disappear. Because they don't count, they disappear altogether. And if they disappear, then there's nothing left to I don't know. Now you tell me the ekech avichem, I will take your machshavas me'aver from the world of Averis, even though Avera didn't count. No, I'll turn them into mitzvahs. It's a beautiful word. So anyway, getting back here. So we're saying to Rabbi Yaakov, how do you know that the reason why they fell down is because of chazal? Maybe because they had machshav Avera. So the Gemara, it's exactly his point. The Gemara, even I'm comment. This is exactly what he's saying. If chametz in this world exists, why didn't the mitzvah itself protect him from these bad thoughts? Protecting is not just a physical protection, but also a spiritual protection. And while you're doing a mitzvah, the mitzvah protects you. We had this Gemara Saita. That while you're doing a mitzvah, the mitzvah protects you. Why didn't it protect you from having thoughts of Avodah Zarah? The healer shouldn't come to hear. Says the Gemara, but maybe, why maybe it didn't work? Because even though the Torah promises all these things, but you're not allowed to put your life in gefar. You're not allowed to put yourself in your life in danger. And maybe sorry. So the Gemara ask a question. let's say there's no schar in this world. I'm sorry. So Rabbi Yaakov established there's no schar. But we ask a question, even if you say there's no schar in this world, but he's doing a mitzvah. The mitzvah should protect you. And shluchim mitzvah ein zaykim. Hasam bali chasam shiny. When do we say that you are protected while you're going to do the mitzvah? Here he was going down. Once you complete the mitzvah, there's nothing left to protect. So what are we talking about? If you're not protecting the way back, nobody will go do mitzvahs. The mitzvah protects you both directions. So why didn't the mitzvah protect him? Even there's no schar, but the mitzvah of kibbutz of aim and sure can't protect him. So it was a rickety ladder. The kiviyah has zeka. You're not allowed to rely on a miracle. Here the ladder was shaky and not stable. You shouldn't have climbed it. So the Gemara, how do I know that? Where you know that this is the Makam Sakana was dangerous, you're not allowed to rely on miracles. Even if you're doing a mitzvah, you cannot say the mitzvah will protect me. You're not allowed to put your life in danger. So it says, Shmuel said to the Eibishter, hey, how do you expect me to go and to go ahead and anoint David? What do you mean? But you're doing a mitzvah. The Eibishter you're doing Eibishter's bidding. He said, that you're going you cannot rely on it. If this is what you asked, if Elisha ben Avu would have, because when he saw exactly this situation, he said, this is what the Torah said. The Torah is not the Torah plastic. It is not necessarily true. If he would have known this is his grandson, Rabbi Yaakov, Lahai Krok, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Bartei. Rabbi Yaakov was the daughter of Elisha ben Avu's son. If he would have known the drush of his grandson, he would never have sinned. What's the story there with Achaz? Exactly that is what he saw. He saw a father bidding his child to go and climb and do all that, and he fell down and died. He saw the tongue of Chutpus HaMaturgiman. We're going to see in the Nasara Malchus, and he saw his tongue. He said, that a chazer was pulling it. It was absolutely repugnant. On my passion, he big Magolius. When he was alive, he was pearls came up, wisdom came out of his mouth. Yelochech often now should be sitting there and soaking the dirt. Nofak Chotter. He went out and he became a heretic. Rami. So therefore, Rabbi Yaakov is the one who said there's no schar in this world. Rami. Rav Tuvi bar Rav Kistel Rava. Rav Tuvi bar Rav asked the question to Rava. Now we learned. It says Mishnah. If you do a mitzvah, we'll give you credit. Sounds like if you don't do the mitzvah, we don't give you credit. What about if you don't do a mitzvah, but you don't do it either? Seems like you don't get credit. Only if you did the mitzvah, you get credit. Not if you don't do the mitzvah or aved. That's what I mean. We learned if somebody sits and doesn't do anything wrong, even though he didn't do anything right, you get credit. That's not talking about stam in the world. You're just sitting and not doing anything. He was tempted to commit a sin, and you didn't commit the sin. That in itself is a credit as if you did a mitzvah. It's tantamount to doing a mitzvah. I'll give you a few examples. When we tempted, we're talking about a real temptation. This matronisa, this aristocratic woman, tried to seduce him. He said some kind of words or something. He did. Suddenly he looked ugly. He had boiled everywhere. He had all kinds of pimples this way to make himself look ugly. So she should leave him alone. Of the Himusavitze, she knew witchcraft, and she did something and removed all those scars and everything from him. Arak, he ran away. He went and hid in his bathhouse. There was a bathhouse that was haunted. He was infested with these demons. That even if you went two people, we already had a few days ago another case where the bias sent Rabbi Yaakov into the shul that people were scared to go even during the day. That even if two people went, during the day, have a miziki, they would get harmed. And he went there because to escape her wrath. On the following day, Omar Rabbana, man nitrach. Rabbana said, "What caused you to go into that place?" Amalu, sorry, and who helped you out? Amalu, he told them, "Shnei noise keser shamruna kol laila." There were two guards there who worked for the king, and they protect me all night long. They said to him, Shema dvar erba b'yodach v'nitzalta. You have a big schus. Maybe you were tempted to do an aveda of arayos and you restrained yourself, and therefore you were protected. The Tanin will learn anybody who was tempted to do a arayos and you were protected from it, a miracle takes place. But still, in other words, that's when we say that Yoshev v'loy over aveda. We don't mean Yoshev just sat there and did nothing. Yoshev means you put yourself in the way, you were tempted, mamish, and you held yourself back. It says in the pasuk that those who are strong, who can restrain themselves, and they do His words, they do Hashem's bidding. Now remember that Tzaddik was a big Tzaddik who fasted 40 years for the Beis HaMikdash. Tzaddik and his friends, Tzaddik the same thing happened. It seems that a lot of times these aristocrats were enamored by these exactly by these people. I guess they also lived in Israel as well. Amallah, he tried to wiggle out of it. Amallah, he said to her, Cholish li boy, I don't feel well. I can't. I don't have the energy. Can you have some food maybe for me? Cook for me some food to give me the energy and the strength. He played along. She said to him, all I have is treif in the house. He said to him, I'm prepared to do an aveda with you. Then what's chiluk treif in that? So what's the big deal? Cook me something treif. Okay. Shigrat tanura. She went and lit the oven, put firewood in the oven. Ka manchale, and she put the food in it. Solig the Yosef go. He went and he jumped into the oven, into the fire itself. She said to him, "My hi, what are you doing?" If I will continue and follow you, then I'm going to end up in Gehenna, which is this thing over here. She said, if I would have known this, I would never have done this. Rashi interestingly says in the Rashi Shiga Tanura that she lit an oven. Rashi says at the end of the second line, the Isha Gedoyla Haisa. She must have been physically a big woman. She ain't yochali potter. He couldn't just walk out on her. She could have killed him. Otherwise, just walk out. Stature. No, then matronis already means stature. She said, yochal harga. How could she kill him? I mean, you could say that she told her guards kill him. It sounds from Rashi that physically she was just a big woman. Exactly. But Rashi is Isha Gedoyla. It doesn't mean matronisa. Then maybe it does, but the Parsha Pshad is Gedoyla physically. In other words, all of these cases were because they felt threatened. They couldn't wiggle their way out of it because their lives were in danger. And that's why he went to a shul where the mazikim he jumped into the oven. Others, one of them shot is that they felt that they don't have the strength to overcome the Yetzer Hara if they get too involved. So that's why they didn't trust themselves. And that would be based on the Gemara in Sukkah. Interesting, Gemara doesn't bring here the Gemara in Sukkah of Abaya. Abaya saw this boy and girl walking into the forest, they're from the base. And he decided to follow them to stop them from an Aveira. And he went with them into the forest for quite a few kilometers. And then they came to a crossroad. The boy said to the girl, I can no longer escort you. And I'm going to the left, you're going to the right, and have a safe trip. And Abaya felt terrible that he suspected them. And he went to Rab and he said to his Rab, he said, if it would have been me, I would have succumbed. What am I worth? And that's what we say the Yetzer Hara of a tzaddik is so great. So maybe that's something these Tanaim they felt, or Amoraim, they felt that they didn't have the strength of character to fight back. So that's why they just ran away. Anyway, another case. Rav Kahana used to sell. His job was to sell things. We actually had a Gemara. These Amoraim used to sell shoes to all of these harlots. And and they resisted any temptation. So here, Rav Kahana, the Gemara doesn't mean that here either. Rav Kahana used to sell wares to these baskets to these women, and that's where they put their their knitting gear. Tavati Matronis again, these matronisses to try to seduce him. Amallah, he said to her, Ezel Ikshin Hashay, let me go into and comb and bring myself, brush myself up, so I'll be ready. Solik, he went up to the roof, the canal from the eagle out, and he jumped off the roof. Interesting. So he didn't know he'll be saved, so he was going to commit suicide, not to do an Aveda, which we know that in the three Avedas he's supposed to, the Rambam says that the other Avedas you're not supposed to die for, and there's a whole machlekes, and if he did, what happens is a good thing and not a good thing. Here he went and he jumped off to avoid the living with a guy, which is only Nisa the Rabbanon. Only Nisa the Rabbanon he was going to jump off. So there is a clear raya to those Rishonim that say that all the other Avedas, if you allow yourself to die rather than to do the Aveda, it's a very noble thing. And Elio came and saved him, rescued him. You caused me to jump 400 parsecs because I was somewhere else. I've kind of said to me, God, why do you think I'm in this situation? Why am I even selling these wares to these women? Because I'm poor. So Elio gave him a whole basket full of coins and became very wealthy. So kind of in the period of his life was not wealthy at all. He was poor. And that's when we have the Rav told him the famous words in Avik Psachim. It's better you become a garbage person or take your, strip and a veil of carcass in the street, which has a terrible foul smell, but you shouldn't have to ask people for help. There's no job that's the meaning. It gives you self-respect, and you don't have to come on to others. Obviously, here he became wealthy was much later in life. Plus, this sounds like it was an Eretz Yisrael. The Rebbe Khan was a bubble. If you remember, we'll learn the end of Rebbe Khan, the next Masechta, Rebbe Khan had to flee Eretz Yisrael and to hide from the government because he killed somebody. It's a whole long story, which we'll learn. So this is a different time in his life. Anyway, we'll go a little bit further. The following thing you do in this world, you get a reward in this world, and you get dividends in this world, and the principle is intact for the world to come. Kibud of aim, and this one even has less than the one we just learned before. Kibud of aim, Gimilus Chasadim, Havor Shon Chaveru Betamatoim. Yeah, it's interesting. You have to find out why we say, so we say over there all these other things. Hachmas Kala, and yet the last mission Hachmas Orchim is stronger, and Bikkur Chaylim. It seems that Hachmas Orchim is greater than Bikkur Chaylim Hachmas Kala, and here you omit all that. We're down to 4. Yeah, exactly. And here we're down to 4. There must be something going on over here. Like, what's going on? Why admit this? Why this is included? Anyway, we'll see in a minute. The key to because the Torah gives you rewards. So you get rewarded in this world. So how do you learn from there? You look for peace and it'll run after you. So what do you see? The differ, we compare it to the differ, which says by Reidim Tzedakah v'Chesed over there. It says that you'll get life, you'll get rewarded. But Talmud Torah said, this is your life. These are all gospel-specific things. That means you'll get dividends in this world. So, like tzedakah, covered is olam hazeh, as she says, and chayim is olam haba, and chayecha is olam hazeh. And eirich, when it says eirich yamim, that is olam haba, a world that has no end. Eirich yamim shuach kanam iksiv leman yitavlach v'arachta yamim. So leman yitavlach and v'arachta yamim. So arachta yamim might be olam haba, and leman yitavlach is in this world. Says the Gemara, if so, at least the name. So how come our Mishnah? This Mishnah here doesn't mention Shluch HaKan. If you're talking about things that you're going to get rewarded dividends in this world, why don't you include Shluch HaKan? That's a mitzvah. You'll get dividends in this world, and you'll go on Haba. Our Mishnah doesn't highlight every single mitzvah that you just mentioned. A few examples. So therefore, the Gemara Tana, how can you tell me that it's Eilu Dvarim? It starts with Eilu Dvarim. By saying Eilu Dvarim, doesn't that mean that these are the things? Even though we learned a few days ago that every law, every rule has a chutz, even if it says chutz mezeh, could be others as well. Those not principles or rules don't really cover everything. What here says by saying Eilu Dvarim sounds like you're trying to say only these mitzvahs, no other. Are you telling me a ma'aseh that he left others out? Rava said, Idi once explained to me. There's a difference. Now, this is very interesting. What is special about all of these mitzvahs? It says the following, and why Shluch HaKan is not included. All the mitzvahs we mentioned, even the ones in our mentioned Hachnosas Orchim, we mentioned Bikkur Cholim, we mentioned Hachnosas Kala. Ein Tefillah is different, as we'll see. How's Ein Tefillah fit in? But look what it says. Rava said, Abidi once explained to me the following. What's so special about these mitzvahs? It says a pasuk. This is what he told me. It says a pasuk. Imru tzadik kitoiv. Tell the tzadik that it's good. Kipri malem, because the fruits of their work yochelu will be eaten. What do you mean? Imru tzadik kitoiv, a tzadik that's good. Tzadik toiv, tzadik she'ena toiv. Are the good tzadikim and the tzadikim that are not good? Elo toiv l'shemayim l'briyeh zeh tzadik toiv. If you do a mitzvah that Sai Hashem gets benefit from it, and Sai other people get benefit from it, that's called a tzaddik toiv. But toiv l'shemayim, v'ra l'briyos, if let's say Hashem benefits, not the ra means that you're actually harming other people, but there's no benefit to other people. Zeh tzaddik she'enu toiv, and that's it. All of these mitzvahs are mitzvahs where you help others as well. Kivur of aim is a mitzvah to the Eibishter, but also helping out your parents. Like we had before, Achnosas Orchim, inviting guests. When we say all of these things, you're inviting other people as well. Gemilas Chasadim, you're helping out other people, and so on. But our thing it isn't included. Anyway, the only question is, then where does Talmud Torah come? So the Talmud Torah can kulam, unless we say lilmoid lilamed. So the whole idea is teach others. The same thing we'll say by Rosh. There's two kinds of Roshim. It says in the pasuk, "Oile Rosh terrible is to a bad Rosh." Why? The reward will get. The Chiyesh Rosh Rav Yeshayin. You don't know how bad Rosh is. It a good Rosh? El Rasha might be. He does have Vedas to Hashem, and it hurts. For example, he steals. So they're in the Torah, and he's harming other people. Rosh Ra, that's a bad Rosh. But for Al Shemai means if somebody let's say Chas v'Shalom Machal Shabbos, so he's affecting Hashem, but he's not harming anybody else. So Rosh She'einu Ra, that's a Rosh who is not bad. So then it's actually, you're right. The only way the Talmud Torah fits in is you have to teach Torah to others. So therefore, it's good to Hashem and good to others. Then you get reward in this world. We'll continue tomorrow in Mitzvah.